Welcome to Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast. I'm your host, Chamber CEO Rachel Beld, and it's my privilege to interview the movers, shakers, and change makers impacting our amazing Vista community and beyond. Today, Mike Delgado joins me for this episode. Mike is the founder and executive director of the Heavy Breathing Foundation, a Vista-based nonprofit that uses strength training and mentorship to build confidence, discipline, and self-worth in at-risk youth and adults. A husband, father, and former heroin addict who battled addiction for 14 years, Mike's been clean since 2014. The foundation is his living amends, built to provide the programs he wishes had existed growing up, breaking down barriers to fitness, mentorship, and community resources. A strength coach with over a decade of experience, Mike works with athletes and people every day worldwide through his coaching brand, Heavy Breathing, and he's also an event organizer, running multiple powerlifting competitions each year that bring the lifting community together. Under his leadership, the Heavy Breathing Foundation has partnered with local schools, gyms, and organizations to help students earn PE credits, create internship opportunities, and provide safe spaces through growth and physical culture. Known for his straight shooting style and relentless commitment to people he serves, Mike's driven by a mission to turn strength into a tool for transformation and connection in the community he calls home. Also winner of the Nonprofit of the Year of 2025 Heroes of Vista. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk to you. So before we dig into your incredible story, I have to ask, what is your favorite lift and why?
Everyone's going to think it's the bench press, but my favorite lift is the deadlift.
Okay.
Because I've blown both my biceps doing it. And so I actually just had my 6-year anniversary of this bicep tear right here. This is the tendon is completely ruptured.
Oh, wow.
The scars from the surgery, it should have only been like a little incision like that, but they just had to keep on digging and digging. And long story short, they couldn't reattach it. So completely missing this one. And then I blew this one 18 months later. And the funny part of it was, I guess it's funny, but I was 4 weeks out of competition each time. And again, it was on the deadlift. So I just switched hands. It's mixed grip. Either way, this one blew up. And then I kind of knew the get down at that point. And I went to the hospital just to get my ibuprofen, but I said, forget the surgery, because you don't really need a bicep. A bicep really isn't for this, right? The bicep's for supination. So like you put your arms out like that. I have a hard time going like that.
Whoa.
So my weakness is a doorknob and carrying groceries in.
Wow.
But I work around it. You don't really need the bicep,
So that's your favorite lift?
Yeah.
Even though it blew out your biceps?
Yeah, because it made me have to sit back and figure out what the problem was.
Okay.
And the problem was me and how I approached the lift and technique, and it really helped me dial it in. And with the work we do in the schools and stuff like that, when I see kids come in, and the barbell can be intimidating, right? And the one lift that most people are most intimidated by is the deadlift.
Yeah.
And because everyone goes like, oh, it hurts my back, right? And I say, well, you just know how to do it.
Yeah, if it's hurting your back, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Right.
You just have been coached correctly, and I can break it down real simple. And I've had, girls in Timberlands and Pro Club baggy pants pick up 180 pounds on their first attempt, at 14 years old, 15 years old. And that's where they get the aha moments like, oh, I can do this if I just apply it right,
Yeah.
So that's why it's my favorite lift, because a lot of people are scared of it. And I've just kind of learned to celebrate that kind of stuff.
Wow. Amazing. So when you're not coaching or competing, what do you do in your spare time?
In my spare time?
Yeah. Or do you have spare time?
I don't have much spare time, but my spare time is spent with my family, hanging out with the wife and hanging out with my boy. I like to go to concerts quite a bit.
Okay.
I just went to one this last weekend with my son. It was his third concert at the Shea Cafe at UCSD La Jolla.
Yeah.
And other than that, I like to...
Who'd you see?
It was a local band.
Okay.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, if I say the name, it would have to be edited.
Oh, okay.
Big blank truck.
Okay.
Right. But it's just a hardcore band. And it was a matinee show. And we were down at a strongman event at Grinder's Gym that my wife was helping direct and run. And we snuck out for a little bit, ran in, saw it, and went back and sold some more merch at the strongman event.
There you go.
just squeezing in the downtime with family wherever you can.
I don't sit still.
Yeah.
I have a really hard time sitting still.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I didn't have much to look forward to in the past, because when I turned my life around, all I had, and this is good for people that may be going through it, all I had was a resume of hard times.
Yeah.
And couldn't get a regular 9-to-5 due to my record. Didn't have a lot of people that wanted to hang out with me because of bridges I burned. And the only thing I had to look forward to was like kind of going to the grocery store for my mom. Like once a day, she sent me on little errands.
Yeah.
And so I just started creating things to look forward to. And now that things are rocking and rolling, and I'm doing so much of what I'm doing in the community with my LLC, with my nonprofit, is just I had lost so much time when I was using, and I'm not going to be able to get that time back. So I try to fill my time with things that mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of it involves community and culture.
Yeah. You've been really open about your experience with addiction. And so I'm curious, can you take me back to a moment when you knew you had to make a change?
Yeah. I might need the glasses on this one. These are my crybaby glasses.
Oh, okay.
But it's all right. So everyone's ever heard of like hitting bottom?
Yes,
right?
Of course.
Well, the problem with me, when I hit bottom, I found a way to keep digging deeper.
Yeah.
And I've been there, I've done that. And, I'm down to talk about it. But, I've been to jails, I've been to institutions, I've been to mental hospitals, I've been to recovery homes, I've been in halfway houses, I've been in detox centers. Like, I've been there, I've done that. I've seen it all. I've seen the good, the bad. I've seen a lot of ugly, right? And for me, my biggest bottom, the last straw, was I found out I was on house arrest, and I should have been doing like 6 years in prison.
Oh, wow.
But the one option I never did was like, oh, well, I never tried inpatient, And so I was able to get them. They had released me on a violation I did. My third DUI was actually driving my car through a cop's house. And
okay.
I'm smiling because it's not funny, and everyone thinks that, oh, it's like a direct,
it's ironic.
It's a targeted thing. It was just, It just happened to be a cop's house I drove through. And he comes out, tells me to go hide in the bush, but everyone comes to land on me right after that. But either way, I got home, and they put me on. They wanted me to go do 6 years, but instead I was able to talk him into going into inpatient, but part of the probation or the terms was I had to do 6 months house arrest. And I always joke, I say I had to stay plugged into on the wall because the officer who gave me my ankle monitor thought it was funny that the monitor he gave me was broken, and so I had to constantly stay on the charge. Like, it would go. If the battery would die within like 30 minutes if I stayed plugged in. And if it would die, that means they would come find me, right? Yeah. It was like kind of like a big deal, But so I was on house arrest, and I found out that I had a kid coming into this world. And that scared me because I didn't have like any skills at the time, I thought. Like the only thing I ever did was like sell drugs or stole and robbed and things like that. And so I knew I was bringing this life into this world, and I didn't want to put him through the same kind of trauma I grew up around and stuff like that. And so I knew I had to make a change not only for him, but for myself. But on top of that, my father, who I love very much, he had a very limited timeline on this earth. He had renal cell carcinoma. And he had been battling cancer on and off for the last couple of years. And I definitely wasn't making it easy on him. And my dad's had his journey with alcoholism and drug use and stuff like that. And the way he was going down wasn't necessarily the most pleasant thing to be around. I mean, it was hard, but I wanted to be present for him. And I caused a lot of stress during that time when I was like in and out and all that other stuff. So I wanted to give my dad some peace of mind before he left. So I was able to give him 4 months clean time before he left, so I could show him like, hey, I'm gonna be okay. And this little boy that I named after you is gonna be just fine too, because I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And if I could get through that, I know I could get through anything. And so that's when I decided it's time to turn it all around. And for it'll be 11 years in a couple weeks. I just did everything the opposite of the way I was doing it.
Yeah.
And it was hard, because I wasn't, due to like my record, I didn't even qualify for like food stamps, and it made me want to go out and do the things I used to do to make money. But I just kept doing things the right way. The right way is the hard way. But over time, that turning around, doing it right, I built this resume without even knowing it. And that's literally how I'm here today.
Yeah.
I turned my lived experience into my resume. I turned surviving addiction into a resume. And that's part of what the foundation is. The foundation is my living amends. It's like how I give back. So there's a lot of wrong I can't right, because there's some people that I hurt, I'm not talking about physically, I'm talking about emotionally.
Right.
Like I put them through things, and I can't necessarily say sorry, so I don't even know who they were. because I wasn't in my right mind, So that's how that went.
I love how you describe it as your living amends. And how did that come to you, that phrase, and how did that, I mean, it's just so eloquently put.
We hear it a lot in the rooms of like AA and
okay.
And for me, my living amends, so when you perform a living amends, or when you get into the program, you have to work through these 12 steps. And the first step is just coming and saying like, yo, I am powerless over this addiction. And as steps go on, one of the steps is identifying character defects and writing them all down, and writing down all the wrongs you ever did, and coming clean about them to like your sponsor or somebody. It's like me sitting here and just telling you like everything I did, and just putting it out there on the table and letting go of that wreckage of my past, right? But my sponsor told me, because I told him like, what about the ones I can't really say sorry for? He's like, well, you just live different. That's your living amends.
Yeah.
And so, like I said earlier, I had to find something to look forward to. I had to create things to look forward to. So this living amends, this foundation, gives me purpose day to day. Like, this is what I do. This is my mission. This is what makes me feel good about the stuff I did. And it makes me feel good about like where I'm at now. And it's like, I'm not proud of where I was, but if that never happened, I wouldn't be what I am now.
Yeah.
And like where I am now, like it's a beautiful thing. Like I am planting positive seeds of change in the future. Our program is great. There's stuff we do with adults. The biggest thing with adults is you try to teach accountability, right? You're in a situation because of decisions you made. And as long as you're willing to accept that, acknowledge it, and work on it, yeah, we'll hold your hand through the process and like help get you right. If you're unwilling to do that, you need to talk to someone else.
Yeah.
But with adults, it can be a slippery slope. There's that term, can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can. It just might take a few extra bumps on the head, right? But with the kids, and this goes with coaching too, the kids, it's like there's less ego, right? A lot of times they listen, especially if they want the advice, they're coming to you because they look up to you, And the kids, they like when I'm trying to teach them a lift, they don't have the bad habits yet. So like for me, it's really easy to train a kid versus an adult because they don't have the bad habits. You know what I'm saying? It's like a guy who comes to me, he's like, I can't get past 500 on my bench. Well, what if I told you you're benching wrong? He like blows their mind, right? Well, I've been doing it wrong all this time. Well, you can tighten it up. And sometimes they don't want to hear that. But with a kid, I can show them how to bench. And like, oh, okay. Like he knows what he's doing. They listen, they adhere to it right away. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So with the kids, I kind of learned that kids, again, that's planting that seed for positive change in the future. Kids, I had this aha moment. Kids can't control their community that they're in. They can't control their parents, their surroundings for the most part, right?
Right.
The schools they have to go to. It's like, so what we're trying to do is give them a different option. If you have downtime, come hang out with us instead. You get what I'm saying? And
is that how the idea for the foundation, how did you come up with the idea to make this into a foundation? So
I've been coaching for 10 plus years.
Okay.
And even like the coaching, like I didn't go out to be this powerlifting, strength, physical culture coach. Someone like when I got clean, I got real big. I weighed like close to 300 pounds. I stopped weighing myself. And I invested in a personal trainer to help lose some weight. And I dove like right in because like when I like something, I'm like,
You're all in.
I'm all in. Sometimes too obsessive. So, there's passion versus obsession. We could talk about that forever too. But I went all in. I started losing some weight. And what I liked about strength training and why we teach it with the kids too is performance based. This isn't about bodybuilding. There's nothing wrong with bodybuilding, but this isn't about getting you ready to go on a stage and pose in front of people and be judged by your looks. This is, can you pick this up or not? And if you can or can't, if you can't, you have to take a step back and identify the character defect and figure out, well, character defects come from the program. That's where, for me, like where I see like how it works together,
Right.
But take a step back and identify the weakness, the sticking point, like why, and what can we do to make that get stronger? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was actually during COVID, the gym I primarily do most of our work at, Ironmongers here in Vista, we didn't shut down, right? And so there was a flood, and like during COVID, you think it'd be hard to like make it through, but like we stayed open. Like I had an influx of clients starting to come in, and over time, I started realizing that trauma indeed attracts trauma, and the people that were choosing to work with me And I mean, it's 50-50, like the men and women I work with. Like I have a roster of about 40 people, and it's pretty split down the middle with gender or whatever. But I started realizing, even though these people all have different backgrounds, different stories, or in different positions in life, a lot of them were going through something super heavy, right? And they were choosing, like I did, the barbell as like a metaphor to show like the world or the community around them. They're like, yeah, I've been broken down, but I can build myself back up, because strength builds confidence, you know? And I had this aha moment, like, yo, like this is what I'm doing here. Like there's more to like what the coaching is doing. These people are hiring me not just because they want me to get them stronger physically. It's a mental thing, it's a spiritual thing too. And I went, boom, this is what I can do with this. I can give back to the community with this, you know, because I pay attention a lot, and I pay attention to other like nonprofits that maybe doing something kind of similar. And sometimes they get like almost offended. I'm like, where's the give back part? Besides just take. Or a lot of people offering to do something if the funding's there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, just start doing it, you know? And so I wanted to do something that actually did the work that they're talking about and go all in with it. And so me and a lot of people that started this foundation were my clients. We're like, you know, I consider that family, you know, because they were there for me and stuff like that. And we put all together during COVID, and a year later we got approved for 501c3, and this is our 4th year, I believe, that we're actually operating.
Yeah.
But this last year, since August 24th, 2024, I said we're going to push this youth initiative, and it has been building up momentously.
Yeah.
You know, 3 contracts with 3 different schools. The contracts came later in 2025. We started with just donating our time on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, Wednesday nights, you know, just going around and sharing the story and things like that. And it just blossomed into what it is now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Why do you think, okay, so there are a lot of programs that focus on fitness, and there are programs that focus on mentorship and mental health. What do you think, why do you think it matters to combine all of those?
Well, like I said, strength builds confidence, right? And especially, not every kid I work with, like, not everyone I work with is going through like addiction or anything like that either,
right.
You know? But the ones who are, like me, when I first got clean, I used for 14 years, you know, and like crystal meth, heroin, like, but the thing was like anything you could put in front of me, that's what I chose to use, because I had such a problem with myself that I call myself an escape artist. I just want to escape the feeling I had of feeling uncomfortable day to day, and that's what I had to use to get by. But when I got clean, it's like, dang, I've been like under the influence for the last 14 years. That's like half my life, because I got clean like 27 or 28. I'm like, I don't even know if I'm going to like myself like without being under the influence. Like, I don't know who I am,
right.
You know? And those early days of recovery is like a baby learning to walk. Like you have to really check your steps. Like, you know, like I'm just talking about like because I'm always on the edge of falling over, I guess, you know? But when I train, when I lift, especially like the heavy lifting and stuff like that, it's confidence boosting, but like it naturally releases serotonin and dopamine that my body's now struggling to release on its own, because I was putting, you know, other substances in it. So it stopped kind of producing it unless like the heroin was there or the crystal meth was there. That's when I would feel happy, right? So like that first year is like very like a lot of anxiety, a lot of apathy, a lot of melancholy feelings. But when I go train, I'd feel good again, you know? So like, it's really important for me to get in there. And so people that are going through like addiction and recovery and stuff like that, it's super important that we give them that boost. I mean, we help them with the physical boost. You get what I'm saying? And it's not even just with the addiction part. Like I've been, like I said, I've been into halfway homes. I've been in the jails and institutions. And the only thing, when you have nothing to look forward to, as simple as a barbell, is like crazy, you know? Like I would just wake up every day, like I got the weight pile I get to go to. I gotta go pick up all this emu poop and stuff like that, because I've been on some weird farms, you know what I'm saying? But once I get done with that, I can go carb up on all the daily pasta drop, and I can go in the weight pile and spend a couple hours down there. It gave me something to look forward to. Again, it's creating something to look forward to. And that's part of the reason why we've had opportunities, I should say, with some of the homeless homes, the homeless shelters around here, and the recovery homes, where like we take donations for equipment, and the stuff that we know we can make $1 off of, we flip. But there's some stuff that might need a little TLC. We'll give the TLC, but then we'll donate it to these weight piles, and we'll build weight piles. We successfully built a weight pile down here. I forget the name of the house. It's right there on Santa Fe, but it's this little complex. But I mean, we put a lot of weight in there, you know, and like we roll up with the truck. Is that retread, where the retread house is? We roll up in the U-Haul. The guys were already jumping out and helping us unload. I don't even have to do no work, you know. They have a great weight pile over there, and they, you know, they've messaged me, you know, saying like, yeah, there's these guys here to just every morning they're in there just doing their thing. Because again, it gives you something to look forward to. We don't have much to look forward to at the time.
Yeah.
So that's why that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the program look like at the schools? So what are you doing exactly with the kids?
So the schools that we're primarily in are continuation schools.
Okay.
And so, it's kind of like one of the last stops before, all right, you're not going to graduate, right? So the kids that are choosing to go there at MGM and Alta Vista are going after their regular school hours if they're not at that school during the day to get credits to graduate. But it's kind of hard to open up a packet and get PE credits. But they also they have facility, but the schools have a gym, but they don't have the staff to run it, right? And so they asked for us to step in. And so what we're doing is teaching the kids, instead of like, hey, it's PE, go run laps. It's like, hey, you can go run laps if you want and get your credits, or you can sit in with me, my wife Amber, or some of our volunteers like Max and Joey, and learn how to deadlift today and get your credits, right? And so the program is really just us showing up. Sometimes we bring other equipment too. Like we like to do strongman implements where it's like heavy carries, sandbag throws and things like that, or sled pushes, because it's kind of more engaging for them, right? A barbell can be intimidating when it's like loaded up, right? Or it's like that's how much weight, you want me to try to pick that up? But imagine like going to the county fair, right? And you see that hammer you pick up and you hit the thing and see how strong you are,
Yeah.
It's like a measurement of, but like everyone's willing to give that a shot, right? It's like, I just pick up and hit. And that's kind of like what strongman stuff is. Like, all I have to do is pick it up and walk with it. Like, yeah, it's all you got to do. And that's kind of what gets them, all right, this is kind of cool. All right, cool, let me show you something else, And that's when, like, we might sneak in, like, a deadlift on them. And all of a sudden, like, oh, what, I picked up how much weight,
Yeah.
And so the school program, we're just helping them get their credits. And we're just doing things that are more engaging for them than just, like, running laps. Oh, you got to run this mile in this amount of time. That's not what it's about. We're trying to build the confidence here. And some of those kids get bit by the bug. And it's like, all right, I like this. And all right, cool, well, here's my card. This is where our gym is. Come meet up with me on the weekend and let's do a one-on-one.
Yeah. And
we take it on from there. We'll do maybe like more foundation work. And what's cool about the schools too is like sometimes it might only be 5 kids, sometimes it could be 20 kids. And then sometimes these kids, they get their credits, they don't need to come back, but they keep coming back anyways, right? And we get to learn some of these kids like individual needs over time. And we can kind of do little things based around that. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna say, homeboy's been coming here with the same shirt on all week long. Let's get some clothes for him. Let's get some leftover stock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, I know this guy's struggling at home with food for the family. Let's raise some money around the holidays so we can get him some gift cards and things like that.
Yeah.
That's like example of some stuff we have done in the past.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Vista is a big part of your story. And, earlier this year, you were selected as the nonprofit of the year at the Heroes of Vista event. What was that like? First of all, tell me how it felt to be nominated, and then how did it feel when you saw your video pop up on the screen?
It was a lot in like a good way.
Yeah.
I'm not used to getting like recognition, but a lot of that comes with like my past. You know what I mean? I used to walk into a room. I even said in my video, I'd walk in a room and people would run away, disperse.
Yeah.
And now, especially in Vista, like, when I walk around, people are constantly trying to run up and talk to me and like congratulate me or tell me I'm doing a good job. And sometimes it's like overwhelming,
Yeah.
because I'm just doing what I believe needs to be done. And a lot of it, there's selfish reasons to what I do because it makes me feel really good about myself, giving myself some purpose. Like that's the selfish part of it, But there's the selfless part of it too, which is the live in amends part, And so being nominated, I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy, and then actually winning that, that shook me in like a good way. Like I got pretty emotional because it like co-signed that I'm doing the right thing, And
you were in a room with truly the leaders of our community. Our mayor, our school superintendent, school board members, elected officials, representatives from the largest businesses, the largest employers in our town. And everyone in the room jumped to their feet to cheer for you. And I saw your face and you walked off and I, escorted you to the area to take photos. It seemed like it was a really like a special moment, but also overwhelming.
Yeah, it was a good moment. Like I said, it just felt like a cosign. I'm just doing the right thing. Yeah. And it feels good. Well, it feels good to feel good, right?
That validation. Yeah.
Exactly. It's the validation part.
Yeah.
And it's like starting to feel some love.
Yeah. That's good.
I really appreciate that.
Do you think, I would hope that recognition like that helps to further your mission and help you make more connections with people. Do you feel like awards like that, not necessarily just that one, but the recognition that you're getting is helping to further your mission?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's led with collaboration with the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, yes. Love the Boys and Girls
Club.
Club.
They reached out to me. They sent me, I had to go to like Washington like that next Monday, the following, whatever. Either way, I came home and I had a personal letter from them, kind of saying like, hey, your story is amazing.
Yeah.
Let's come in here. Let's talk. Let's see if we can collab somehow. And there's been other opportunities that have come since then,
That's great.
I love Vista, I live in Escondido and I'm all about North County, San Diego, but Vista we started, Becca Kinder got us into MGM over there in Vista, and everything has just been Vista this whole last year.
Yeah.
To the point where we're going to move here this next year.
Yahoo!
Yeah.
Woo! We got another one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Tell me, how'd you meet your wife?
At the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And what has her role been in this foundation and the success of the organization?
She helps show that it's not just about men for sure. So it definitely helps with that part, getting the women in there and stuff like that. But she has a completely different story than me, right? I met my wife in the gym. She walked in during the competition. I fell in love immediately. And I thought she was just passing by. Then I saw she signed up, and then boom, we just immediately clicked. I know the very spot we met in the gym, and we've been together now for 6 years. It'll be our, I want to say, our second anniversary.
Okay.
It might be our third wedding anniversary. I'm sorry, babe. But either way, we've been together for that long, and she's been, I don't want to say she's held my hand through the process. She's been my ride or die throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
And what she does with this foundation is she just opens up for the girls. She shows that lifting doesn't just make you, I think women get worried that it will make them boxy and stuff like that.
Right. You can be strong.
You can be strong.
Yeah.
You can be beautiful. You can be feminine still. You know what I mean? Strength is strength, and strength is powerful. And that's what, is important for women to understand that too. And it's very good for helping rebuild and things like that too. If you've been down, like I said, her story is completely different from mine. My background is nothing like her background. If I tell her hey, I'm very used to sitting in a room with men and go da 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 da. You know what I mean? And she go yeah. And I say that to her. She's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
She's like, nope, that's not my lived experience.
Yeah, exactly. But she's able to give that, testimony to girls that are going through it and be like a beacon of hope for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that both of you are just the metaphor of external strength and internal strength, really, just that you have both, right? Because you obviously wouldn't have gotten through everything you went through and come out who you are without having that fire, that strength inside of you.
Right.
Because you wouldn't have been able, it would have crumbled. And maybe it took a few tries, right? But that strength never went away. So that's really inspiring.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring.
We both met each other when we were down.
Yeah.
I was at a different type of down in my life. It wasn't from the using and stuff like that. And I met her when she was coming out of an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share too much because it's her story.
Of course.
But she came out of an abusive relationship, was going through a crazy divorce. And when we first met, it didn't even work right away because we had to take care of ourselves first. And then 6 months later, it ended up working and got us to where we are now.
Yeah. I think in relationships, timing is one of the most important pieces of whether something clicks or not. It's just at the right time.
Right.
You can meet the best person ever, and if it's not the right time, it doesn't work.
Right.
Right. So that's great. That's great. So what is the hardest part about the work that you do?
The hardest part?
Yeah.
It's not the motivation, because I'm always motivated to go. The hardest part can be, there was a period in time, especially, like I said, we announced the youth initiative, really pushing it that year. During that period of time, I felt like we weren't doing nothing. I have these great ideas and I want to do this and but it's not my job to save people. People have to save themselves.
Right.
All I can do is be a resource for them. And when you don't get the success you want out of it, you feel like you're doing a bad job. What's wrong? It's I'm what am I doing wrong? How am I not being of service? How am I not? It's leading a horse to water is up to them to drink or, to take it or not. It's just, the hardest part is just when things aren't going the way you want, doesn't necessarily mean you're not doing it right. You just got to be kind of patient and just kind of work around it or figure out, a lot of this is trial and error. We're still really new, and so I can be really critical of myself, and I was just beating myself up a lot, thinking we're not, I don't want to waste no one's time. I don't want to waste any funding for no reason and stuff like that. So that's kind of the hard part, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, you said earlier you don't like to sit still.
Right.
So it makes sense that the hardest part for you would be the waiting.
Yeah.
Like the sitting still, the
Oh, yeah,
waiting
it
for all of that. So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah, the patience is the hardest part.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all of this feeling of anticipation, you know, like for like right now we have some major funding coming from the city of Vista.
That's amazing.
And I had to write this 13-page proposal back in April, and we got approved by the city. Then the state denied it, and we had to come back and fix a couple things, and the state approved it, and it's going to hit in September. And it's like, all right, once I have this funding, I'm able to do. I already have all these ideas, but I just got to wait for it. So it's more like the month of August, July and August has been like this feeling of like anticipation.
Yeah.
Because once we're able to launch it, it's like, you know, I'm going to be able to get like this trailer and load up equipment and take it to the schools, take it to Boys and Girls Club, and like really show these kids how to squat, bench, dead, you know, something they never thought they would be doing, things like that.
That's
you know?
amazing.
Yeah.
All right. What's the best part?
The best part, the smiles.
Yeah.
You know, the adult stuff's fun, you know what I'm saying? But like, again, where I really get it is like with the kids, and like, I'm different with the kids. It's like, it's almost like, I don't know if I'm just emotionally stunted or something like that. Like my maturity level.
You get to be a kid too.
Yeah,
right? Sounds like a lot when you were a kid, you didn't maybe get to be a total kid at that time.
For sure. And I get to relate to them. And like, you know, when I grew up very uncomfortable in my skin. I grew up around a lot of trauma, and I had a hard time making friends, and I started making friends the wrong way when I started doing bad things. I thought that's what they celebrated, you know, and that's part of the reason where I ended up where I did end up. But I get to work with these kids and help build confidence and like hear their stories and about them going home and telling mom and stuff like that, or them just running up after and like, thank you so much. You know, like that's the best part.
Yeah. That's awesome. You're a mentor to a lot of people, but who do you look to for advice? Who's your mentor? Do you have one? Or more than one?
It's definitely more than one. It kind of just falls into like the season kind of thing, you know? My first mentor would have to be this guy named Josh Bryant. And I found he's probably one of the best strength coaches in the world. And I actually found his book when my last jail stay. And his book's called Jailhouse Strong, and it's actually not allowed in the system anymore because it teaches you how they don't want you training in there. And so, but it gave me a structure to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I ended up hiring him. When I got out, I inquired about working with him, and we didn't even have a conversation. He just sent me an invoice, and I had to save money for like that first year to actually hire him. You know, and back then $450 is a lot of money.
Yeah,
every
that's
12
a lot.
weeks, especially when I wasn't working or anything like that. But I hired him, one, for the physical parts because he was the youngest person to bench 600 pounds, right? I'm like, well, I'd like to at least bench 315. So I thought he'd be the guy to work with because he knows what he's doing. But when I started like following him on social media and seeing things, he had stuff that I would want, you know? He had it appeared to be like a happy life, you know, kids that love him, a wife that loves him. It's not just all about being in the gym. There's like other cultural aspects and stuff like that, you know, just being part of the community and part of culture. And so my dad was gone, and I didn't really have anyone positive to look up to besides like maybe my sponsor inside of AA, but he would be my first mentor. And like when I first started training or first got into coaching, he helped me navigate that process with like business, and I would ask him all these questions, and he's pretty much the one that educated me and taught me everything I know, you know. So he's one of my biggest mentors to this day for sure.
Yeah.
And then some other mentors, it might sound funny, but some of the people I've met that weren't necessarily doing the best. You know, the foundation is one of the influences is my friend Tommy. He passed away from his addictions, right? Yeah. But his longest period of clean time was with me when we met each other. When I met him, I remember like just knowing, I just recognized the hurt, right? And I said, I know you're going through it, but I'm here on these days. If you're here, I will train you. I'll coach you for absolutely for free, right? And he's one of the people that kind of inspired me to create this foundation as well. But my time with Tommy before he left this earth, like he motivated me. He taught me how to be a service to the community. Because there was a period in time with my recovery where I started resenting things. Yeah. I hit a different bottom. You know, I started resenting the emails coming. Like everything was going right. Like the work was coming in. There's things to look forward to, but for some reason I just wasn't happy. Right. And the 12th step in the program is being a service to your community. And I kind of ignored that. I was being only, you know, I finished the steps and thought, all right, cool. I have the product. Like it's going to be all good now. But I had part of continuing to work on yourself is working with others. And Tommy used to like tell him, like, you know, one of his flaws was someone could call him. We'd be in the middle of a session. Someone could call him. He's like, I have to go. My brother's locked up in a hotel right now. He needs someone there. He was always there for somebody.
Yeah.
And he taught me that, like, go be of service. And so that's one of the inspirations behind the foundation too. And he would have to be, like, again, he's not here no more, but his willingness to be there for someone, whether he's going through it or not. I was like, I need to be like that, you know? And that's kind of how I end up where I am today as well.
Yeah. Wow. You're a really special person.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I hope you know that. I think you do. So where do you see your foundation in 5 years?
That's interesting you say that. So I had a meeting with, her name's Doreen, and she actually founded the New Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vista Trade Tech High.
Yeah.
And
I know Doreen quite well. Yeah. She's a lovely person.
She's awesome. And I'm sitting across the room from her, and I felt like I was talking to myself. Energy matches energy, right? And her enthusiasm about everything she's doing and stuff like that, how she started like 1987, all this other good stuff. And really, the missions are the same. It's just different implements to get there. She's working with at-risk youth, so we're trying to see if maybe we can collaborate with them somehow in the future, right?
That's
great. I'm
great.
sitting there, she's showing me the grounds and stuff like that. I'm like, the only difference between her and I is decades in the game, you know? And so where I want to be in 5 years, well, before 5 years, I'm hoping that we have our own facility, you know, and not necessarily going to be a gym. There will be gym equipment in it, but I would love to have a resource center.
Yeah.
Kids can come hang out after school and be tutored or do art, because obviously I know a lot of tattoo artists, right? But teach them different kind of trades that a lot of people don't consider, you know? And one of those trades that we can teach them is being a personal trainer. Right. And teach things like that. And like I said, that's what last year we pushed for the youth initiative. This next couple of years, I'm pushing to get a building, you know, and I'm going to outfit that thing. Because one thing I want to have available is, so when I went to school, I had zero interest in athletics, zero interest in sports, but I always wanted to be in the gym, right? So I would do wrestling just to get into the gym. That's why my nose is crooked. I'm getting kneed in the face a bunch of times. But I lost access to that because of my GPA. And it wasn't necessarily because I was out there doing drugs. I hadn't hit that yet, you know, but I have OCD, I have ADHD, and I'm either all the way in or all the way out. And I would struggle with my academics at times. And I know there's other kids like that too. But what is the point of athletics in school? It's community building. It brings positive mentorship. And the kids who can't necessarily maintain their GPA now lose access to that. And it isn't always, you know, it's more than just learning disabilities. There could be other factors going into that. Maybe they can't afford the tutoring, right? And so they lose access to that. And sometimes they gain access to the wrong mentorship. And that's where I ended up. Part of the reason I became a drug addict, a drug addict and a drug dealer, is because that's what I was taught by the older people I hung out with outside of school. You know, I was groomed into it, and I ran with it because it put money in my pocket and people liked me for it.
It gave you belonging.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I want a place where kids maybe who just want to lift or want somewhere else to go and just hang out and be around positive people who've been around the neighborhood and kind of get what it's like, to be able to just come chill and hang out. And like either you get coaching for free or low cost coaching or whatever, we can work all that out in the future, you know, but I just want that available. I'm creating what I wish was there for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then part of the foundation, I'm getting so emotional with this crap, right? Listen, sorry guys, but what I'm saying is part of the foundation is like, it's also not just my living amends, it's my legend for my son.
Of course.
Everything I do, he's involved. He comes with me in the truck to pick up donations. He goes with me to the schools. Like John has been a part of this thing since he's just turned 10 this last summer, but he's been part of this since he was like 5. You know,
he was a key part of the key part of you turning your life around.
Right.
So of course he's part of it.
Yeah. And he's been in the gym with me since he's been 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
And the way you live forever is the way people tell stories about you. And so as long as I give that kid something positive to talk about, I'll be living for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this is my legend for him. And one day I want to pass the wheel to him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, today we've talked a lot about a lot of different themes, and one of the big ones is just hope and kind of rebirth. And so I'm curious if someone comes across this episode and they're struggling, what advice do you have for someone who's in a dark place right now?
Well, one, create something to look forward to. It could be just going to the grocery store and buying popsicles for your mom every day.
Yeah.
You know, but it gives your life some form of purpose at that time. And then if you want to know the biggest secret to getting out of where you're at, is just literally just stop doing the things that you were doing and flip it around. And it might seem really hard, because it is, but anything worth having is hard work. But the biggest thing I think I can suggest is don't be afraid to ask for help, because the biggest strength there is the willingness to ask for help. I used to think that asking for help is a sign of weakness. And that's part of the reason why it probably took me so long to even start the foundation, because I was too proud to ask people to help me navigate the paperwork. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, don't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's something as simple as that or something as major as like coming into like reintegration or addiction and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a weakness, it's an absolute strength. And that's what taught me the community part of it. It's like all these people were willing to help me get to where I am today because I was humble enough to be like, hey, can you hold my hand through the process? You know?
Yeah.
And even if you have this like record of hard time, yeah, it sucks right now. But again, if you live your life right, the way you should, everyone knows the difference between right or wrong. And you start doing the right things day after day, eventually you're going to build this resume of success without even knowing it. I haven't updated my resume in a long time because I work for myself, but if I went back and created a resume right now, executive, founder, we operate a resale, an operations manager, like all these things, I could go get a 9-to-5 now if I wanted to.
But you don't want to.
Right. This is what I do. You know what I'm saying? But if I wanted to, I created this resume and I have experience and you can too. If I can do it walking around like a human Etch-a-Sketch, you can too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So, you talk about asking for help.
Mm-hmm.
How can the Vista community or the community at large, how can we help you? What can businesses do to help you? What can the community do to help Heavy Breathing Foundation get to that next level?
Obviously, funding is a big part of it, but opportunity is a part of it too. So there's any room for opportunity to get in somewhere. If we have to donate our time, if it works, it works. So as long as the opportunity, give us a shout. If you know where there might be funding available, like grants and things like that, or if you know there's someone's hands I need to go shake and talk to them and sell the mission, then please let me know. But other than that, you can always support by buying from our merchandise when we do our drops and things like that, from our resale, donating equipment. Funding is great, but what's even better is just your willingness to show up too. Like I tell people, if you have lived experience through the hard times, please come hang out with us at the schools. Contact me on our Instagram or our website or emails, whatever, because you don't know how to lift a weight. That's my job. I do that. We have volunteers that do that too. But if you've been through hard times, especially you're from this neighborhood and things like that, and you've been in the gutter and you've worked yourself back up and you know a thing or two about a thing or two, we need that wisdom, right? Because knowledge is great, but knowledge without practical application from the lived experience doesn't mean anything. And those are the people that I'm really trying to get involved with the foundation. So yeah, funding's great, right? But what I really want is more people that are invested as I am in this mission that believe not only in heavy breathing, but the community of Vista and North County, San Diego.
Great. That's awesome. All right, before we wrap up, I have a few rapid fire questions that I ask every guest.
Okay.
So I want to know if you have a book that you recommend.
Yeah, I had to think about this one for a second because I don't read a lot. I do, but it's like boring stuff like strength training manuals and things like that.
Those things are great too.
I prefer fact over fiction. But if you have to read a book, and this one helped me out a lot, it's called 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And it has 48 different laws that if you implement them in your day-to-day, you'll probably be a rad person.
Okay. I haven't heard of it, so I'll add it to my list.
It's a great book, and he takes examples from history and how it could be like, say less, think more, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? Just a lot of wisdom that came from different experiences of time in history. And it's a phenomenal book. And he has other books too out there, like the Art of Seduction, not the Art of War, but the Art of Mastery and stuff like that. Learn how to master your craft, not just be a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah. Wow. Okay, good. All right. I know you're a music guy, so this one might be hard, but what's your jam? What's your favorite song?
My favorite song?
Yeah.
That's hard. Because
I know, it's so hard. That's why I ask.
Dang.
And I know for me, it's like every day I have a different song that I love.
Yeah.
But
I would have to say, and the reason I'm going to say is because I named my son after the band. So my son's named after the band Slayer, but it's the album called Rain and Blood, REIGN, right?
Okay.
And so his name is Jonathan Evan Rain Delgado.
Okay.
So I'd have to say Rain and Blood by Slayer. It came out in 1986, and there couldn't be a better thrash song out there.
All right. The best thrash song of all. Okay. I love it. So, Mike, what inspires you?
What inspires me? My family.
Yeah.
The smiles.
Yeah.
The community around me.
Yeah.
That's really it. Like what keeps me motivated, enthusiastic about this, like, because believe me, I'm tired all the time.
Yeah.
Like my wife has to bump me on the head. It's like, I need time too, and, but knowing that I was able to take all the stuff I'd done in the past and create this mission out of it, and even like now be like being paid to be me, basically, like, that
feels pretty good.
It feels really good,
Yeah.
But like the smile on a kid's face, or even like your little boy.
Yeah.
You know, he came and tapped me on the shoulder and he's like, "You won Hero of the Year." I'm like, "Who are you?" You know?
Yeah.
And I remember, and I was like, and then like right then and there, I got him to pick up like, I messaged you, like, pick up like over 100 pounds, you know?
Yeah.
And then he wouldn't quit. You know, he fell. I'm like, "You can do it." He's like, "Just do this. And he came in and got it, you know? But it's like I'm really in it for the kids, you know, like the way they look up to me. It's not like, I don't know how they think of me, or like, I mean, I imagine they look at me like, whoa, at first, but like when they get to know me, they look at me like kind of like these puppy dog eyes, and they ask me questions, and like they're listening, they're invested.
Yeah.
And I like that, because it's like being around my little boy, and my little boy's just getting older and older. But if I'm able to hang out with this youth at this age, you know, I get to keep that feeling a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay. Tell me a Vista business that deserves a shout out.
Ironmonger's Gym.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right there on the cusp of like Vista and San Marcos, but it's right there off Rancho Santa Fe. I built myself in that house, you know.
How did you find them?
I was training at a place in Escondido. The business is no longer around. It was called Samson Barbell. And I had reached out to Rick a couple times inquiring about going to a large, because I was at like a one-on-one kind of training studio. And I wanted to be more around a community of lifters. You know, it's like, you can only be so strong with just what knowledge you have available with you, right?
Sure.
And with Ironmonger's Gym, like, it's specific for strength training, strongman, powerlifting, athletics, whatever. When you get around community, it's like each person has their own X amount of years of wisdom, and I just want to be surrounded by a stronger community. And when I went over there, I told him what I had to offer, because I was trying to go over there to coach. And he never stepped in my way. I've been in places where like ego kind of got in the way. Maybe people want to start working with me over them and things like that. But he never got in my way like that. He always been supportive of the mission. And there's something, I've been there, and I mean, I've been there, done that, and like in the strength realm, like I have traveled all around. I've been in all kinds of gyms in different states. I've been a part of major competitions and things like that. I've worked with the best of the best athletes and things like that. But there is something absolutely special about that house. I've seen many people come in there and build themselves up from bottom. Not saying like rock bottom, but they've built themselves from scratch into leaders in the community of strength. And he don't interfere with it. Like the only thing he asks of, give back to the house, pick up a broom, throw away the trash. You get what I'm saying? Like, and I wouldn't say he's held my hand through the process, but he's definitely been right by my side the whole time. And
That's great.
One of my best friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been awesome talking to you this morning.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank Mike Delgado with Heavy Breathing Foundation for joining me today. And thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and tell a friend. Help us move Vista forward with velocity. The Vista Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit organization that serves as a catalyst for business growth. Find us online at vistachamber.org.